Understanding projection requires empathy and self-awareness. When faced with negative behavior that seems unwarranted or disproportionate, it helps to pause and ask whether the reaction might be more about the other person's internal struggles than your actions. This doesn't mean excusing hurtful behavior or ignoring your own boundaries, but it does mean recognizing that not every negative interaction is personal. Responding with compassion rather than defensiveness can sometimes de-escalate tension and open the door to better communication. Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to talk about a topic that's as uncomfortable as it is enlightening: why people might secretly harbor negative feelings toward us. It's not always easy to confront, but it's necessary if we want to grow as individuals and build stronger connections. Now let's be clear, not everyone who dislikes us does so for reasons we control, but some factors are within our influence, and they're worth examining. Certain behaviors can unintentionally trigger negative feelings in others. Even when we don't mean to cause harm, people react to behaviors based on their own experiences, emotions, and perceptions, which are often deeply rooted in their personal history. This makes understanding the impact of our actions crucial if we want to build stronger and healthier relationships. While we might see our behavior as normal or harmless, others may interpret it differently, leading to miscommunication or resentment. Recognizing and addressing how our actions influence others can help us navigate these complex dynamics with more empathy and intention. For instance, being overly competitive can create tension in relationships. While striving for success is a natural and positive trait, constantly comparing yourself to others or making every interaction feel like a competition can alienate people. They may feel diminished, undervalued, or even judged, which can lead to underlying hostility. Instead of fostering healthy collaboration, this behavior may cause others to see you as a threat rather than an ally. In situations like this, self-awareness and balance are key. By focusing on shared goals or celebrating others' achievements as much as your own, you can create an atmosphere of mutual respect and trust. Another common behavior that can provoke negative reactions is the lack of authenticity. People are highly perceptive when it comes to detecting insincerity. Whether it's pretending to agree with someone to avoid conflict or exaggerating achievements to impress others, these actions often backfire. When people sense that your words or actions are not genuine, they may begin to distrust you, even if they can't pinpoint exactly why. Authenticity is about showing up as your true self with honesty and vulnerability. It's about admitting mistakes, sharing your struggles, and being willing to listen openly. These qualities often disarm hostility and foster connection, even in difficult situations. Another subtle but impactful behavior is dismissiveness. This can take many forms, such as interrupting someone while they are speaking, downplaying their concerns, or failing to acknowledge their contributions. While these actions might seem small or unintentional, they can leave a lasting impression. Dismissiveness often communicates to others that their opinions, feelings, or presence don't matter, which can breed resentment over time. To counter this, practicing active listening and showing appreciation for others' perspectives can go a long way. People want to feel heard and valued, and making the effort to provide that validation strengthens relationships. Sometimes, the way we handle conflict or criticism can also trigger negative feelings. If we become defensive, overly aggressive, or passive-aggressive in challenging situations, we risk escalating tension rather than resolving it. People tend to mirror the energy they receive, so if our approach to conflict is filled with blame or hostility, it's likely to be met with the same. Learning to respond calmly, take responsibility when necessary, and approach conflicts with a problem-solving mindset can help de-escalate situations and foster understanding. Behaviors that trigger negative reactions often stem from a lack of awareness about how we come across to others. By taking the time to reflect on how our actions might be perceived, we can avoid unintentionally alienating people. Small changes, like showing genuine interest in others, communicating openly, and treating people with respect, can have a profound impact on how we're received. This doesn't mean we need to constantly second-guess ourselves, but it does mean being intentional and considerate in our interactions. The effort to understand and improve our behavior isn't just about avoiding negativity. It's about building meaningful, lasting connections based on mutual respect and trust. Projection is a psychological phenomenon where individuals attribute their own emotions, insecurities, or flaws to others. It is a natural defense mechanism that allows people to avoid confronting uncomfortable truths about themselves. However, when someone projects their internal struggles onto you, it can create tension, misunderstandings, or even resentment in relationships. Recognizing projection for what it is and understanding how to respond to it can be a powerful tool for maintaining emotional balance and fostering healthier interactions. When people secretly harbor negative feelings toward you, it is often less about who you are and more about what you represent to them. For example, if someone feels inadequate in their career, they might project that insecurity onto a successful colleague, perceiving them as arrogant or undeserving. This reaction often has little to do with the colleague's actual behavior and much more to do with the individual's internal narrative of self-doubt or envy. Projection allows them to shift the focus away from their feelings of inadequacy by blaming someone else. Unfortunately, this process can create unnecessary conflict or tension, especially when the person being projected upon is unaware of what's happening. Another example of projection occurs when people project their fears onto others. Someone who feels insecure about their ability to maintain friendships might view others as distant or untrustworthy, even if there is no evidence to support that belief. They may interpret neutral actions, such as a delayed response to a text, as proof of rejection or betrayal. In this scenario, the individual's fear of abandonment clouds their perception, leading them to misinterpret the intentions of those around them. As a result, their behavior toward others may shift, potentially causing the very outcome they feared. Projection can also stem from unprocessed emotions, such as guilt, anger, or shame. For instance, a person who struggles with feelings of guilt about neglecting their responsibilities might criticize others for being lazy or unmotivated. This externalization of guilt allows them to avoid addressing their own shortcomings. But it can damage relationships by creating a sense of unfair judgment or hostility. Similarly, someone who feels ashamed of their mistakes might become overly critical of others' imperfections, using projection as a way to deflect attention from their own vulnerabilities. Understanding projection requires empathy and self-awareness. When faced with negative behavior that seems unwarranted or disproportionate, it helps to pause and ask whether the reaction might be more about the other person's internal struggles than your actions. This doesn't mean excusing hurtful behavior or ignoring your own boundaries, but it does mean recognizing that not every negative interaction is personal. Responding with compassion rather than defensiveness can sometimes de-escalate tension and open the door to better communication. At the same time, it's essential to reflect on our own tendencies to project. We are all human, and projecting our insecurities or emotions onto others is something we're all capable of doing, often without realizing it. Practicing self-reflection, owning up to our emotions, and addressing unresolved issues can reduce the likelihood of projecting onto others. By understanding the role projection plays in relationships, both as the one who experiences it and the one who may unconsciously do it, we can create more authentic, compassionate, and meaningful connections.